Well, um, I found out that the Pokemon Bank is it has the national dex for Pokemon. I was like looking for it yesterday and trying to find it. I was like, why do I see a Pokédex insignia in the icon in the what's it called, the Pokemon Bank thing? Why do I see a Pokédex in the Pokemon Bank thing? Honestly, I hope the next Pokemon game actually puts the Pokédex where it's supposed to be. All whatever 800 something Pokemon, 830 Pokemon in a regular Pokédex, not in the Pokemon Bank. I hope that they put it in where it's supposed to be in the next game, because seeing it in the Pokemon Bank for the Pokédex, for the National Dex, is kind of bothers me. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't seem normal to see it in the regular. It doesn't seem regular seeing it in the Pokemon Bank. It's regular when you see it in the regular Pokédex, and to me that's normal. But now that it's in the Pokemon Bank, it's not normal to me. I'm not used to that. I don't look at the transporter thing at the Pokemon Bank almost never. I rarely even use it. And I hope when they update for the next Pokemon Bank update, I hope that you could actually transfer over old items through the Pokemon Bank carried by a Pokemon, because whenever I equipped an item to a Pokemon that I'm going to transfer over, it always goes back to the original game. I mean, if that's the case, why didn't Nintendo and Game Freak actually fix that issue? I know if I knew that earlier, I would have actually upgraded all my Pokemon's Pokemon powers before I transferred them. But now I can't do that because it won't let me transfer it back to the original game because of the stranglehold that the Pokemon Bank has. There are certain rules and regulations that they need to restrict us from. Honestly, I hope one day Pokemon actually has a game where you don't have to actually transfer over Pokemon. There's only one game, maybe two games that you will ever need to transfer over Pokemon, ever, between the two games. I liked it that way. Not this transfer over Pokemon, lose the item, and never see it again. That's why I like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because you never had to actually go through the Pokemon Bank, trade it over that way, and trade it between 3DSs instead of trading it over the Pokemon Bank. The Pokemon Bank is actually pretty useless, if I have to say, because there's like really no point to it, because people buy the games, people until the day they die, when it comes to that, they will always buy Pokemon because there will always be Pokemon fans playing the game, including myself. But I think the Pokemon Bank is the worst invention ever. I hope they have a game where all, 830 Pokemon are, or whatever number it is now, I hope they make one game like Silver and Gold, where you could travel all through the regions from whatever region you want to actually start from. That they should give you that option, and then journey through Pallet Town, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Kalos, and all that stuff. They should give you that option, because this Pokemon Bank thing, not being able to transfer over items either, is kind of lame, because I have almost every item in my other game, but there's no way to transfer all of them over. And why is the National Dex in the Pokemon Bank? It should be in the actual game. Game Freak and Nintendo. It should actually be in the game like it's always been in the game. It should never ever be in the Pokemon Bank, because I was like looking at it, why is there Pokedex entries in there? Why? Like, I'm like, huh? I don't even look at the Pokemon Bank really. I just transfer over my Pokemon because that's how Game Freak and Nintendo set it up, where you have to use this stupid Pokemon Bank, and I can't even transfer over items now because that's how they set it up. The only way I can transfer over items is if I actually go between Sun and Moon. I can't go between Ruby, Sapphire, and do it that way. I can't do it because the Pokemon Bank doesn't allow that, because of the restrictions of maybe certain items are maybe hacked. Well, if that's the case, why did the Pokemon Bank even exist? Now that I think about it, the Pokemon Bank, even for $5 a year, it's a waste of money. It's like, I'm looking at it right now when I'm looking at the new Pokemon game. It's for Sun and Moon. I think it's not even worth it. Like, Sun and Moon is okay, but it could have been better. I mean, I wanted it to actually show up in the regular Pokédex, not in some random area that I never even look at. I'm like looking at the entry, like Pokédex entries. I'm like, Tapu Koko is there, and I'm like, what? Why is it in the Pokébank? I think purposely Nintendo and Game Freak put it there because they want you to transfer over your Pokemon in that instance, that way. Otherwise, you would never look at, I would never look at that thing, or people would never look at that thing. But for me, I'm just gonna transfer over my Pokemon and then upgrade all my Pokemon stats and be on my merry way. After that, I'm done with the game. I hope the next game actually, when Pokemon actually makes another series, if this doesn't tank on Disney XD, if the new series doesn't, which I have to commend all the people, all the YouTubers that stream Pokemon Sun and Moon in Japanese. I have to commend those people because I don't want to support the Disney franchise when it comes to Pokemon, because Pokemon is sacred. Pokemon is like it's like a precious gem that needs to be treated with respect. And I have to commend those Japanese YouTube streamers that actually do stream Pokemon in Japanese. Whoever you guys are, thank you, because I never plan to watch when it comes out in English sometime this year. I don't plan on watching it in English because it's not on Cartoon Network anymore, except for a couple more episodes of X and Y and Z. But the Pokemon Bank, it's not even worth it, because like I was saying, it's not even worth what is promised. I thought eventually you could transfer over items from your older games and then you transfer over those items to your newest game, so you don't have to actually try to find like another max PP ups or PP ups, which are Pokemon powers, for upgrades. And I was like thinking, I thought I didn't have to deal with this, but I guess I'm gonna have to reconsider actually playing Ruby and Sapphire again. I think that's a better game than Sun and Moon. I honestly do, because at least I know where all the Pokemon are going to be in the game, rather than Sun and Moon. I'm like, huh? Where's this entry? I'm like looking at the Pokédex and there's no entry in yet. I'm like trying to look at it going, what? Now, I hope the next one, if there is going to be a next one, I would have waited maybe at least 3 years for the next Pokemon game to come out. Because if Sun and Moon has a lot of issues like this, then it's not really worth it, in my opinion. But I don't know what else I want to actually talk about, because that's all I wanted to actually discuss in this video. Because when I was seeing the national Pokédex in the Pokemon Bank, I was like, what? What is this? I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, it's in the menu section of your actual Pokemon Bank thing. And I was like, huh? What's this? And I think Pokemon actually needs to explore other animals besides dragons too. I think they need to actually go with another animal from the Chinese zodiac. I would prefer maybe a bunny or something. Not another dragon. Or even a monkey like Infernape was. But that would have been cool. Legendary if Infernape was an actual legendary. But I don't work for Nintendo, or Game Freak for that matter, but maybe because I've been playing Pokemon for so long that I know too much so I know what works and doesn't work. Because dragons are cool, don't get me wrong. I've loved dragons ever since I was a kid, but seeing it excessively in 5 games is not the most pleasant thing ever. Especially in this one, because they could have made a cool black dragon Pokemon, but they made a what's it called? Pac-Man version of a dragon. I was like, nope, not gonna use that as an Ultra Beast. I mean, they could have made him or it cool. They could have made most of these Pokemon look awesome looking. But now when they make Pokemon for Game Freak, I think they could actually try a lot harder. They need to, because now when I look at Pokemon, I'm like, why? I think the coolest series, now that I look back on it, that had the coolest Pokemon in the first starters, actually were the originals. Everybody bags on Squirtle, but now that I think back on it, you should never bag on Squirtle or Gen 2, because the alligator and all those guys, and Chikorita, and those Pokemon look like they actually did something. Now it just looks like let's give them a ugly looking water type Pokemon, or a somewhat cool looking grass type Pokemon. The only grass type Pokemon that looked cool after Venusaur is Torterra. Torterra was actually looking ferocious, even for a turtle. I'm like, wow, that's cool. Even the serpent snake looking thing, but even that could look better. They should have actually made it look like a snake. I mean, like that looks more like a worm than a cool looking snake. They could have actually made that look like a cobra. I mean, that would have been looking strong and all that kind of stuff. But now they don't even try anymore. Every time I have to commend them for trying. I don't commend them for trying. I commend Game Freak for actually lasting this long now. Because looking back on it, I'm surprised that they're lasting 20 years. They need a new face. They need to be cool again. They don't need to be lame and try to make Pokemon with the Pokemon Bank. They need to go back to the old ways of doing things, because otherwise, once people catch on like I have, it doesn't look good for them. Because after what I've seen, Solgaleo, cool, but Nulala, I like, bats are cool, but even bats know how to fly. I mean, like, there needs to be a third typing for all Pokemon then, because now that I look back on it, bats automatically know how to fly. So with a secondary capability of a fairy type for Lunala, because it's technically not a fairy, it's more of a dark type and a ghost type, or what it... I wouldn't even call it ghost, because you can't call ghosts ghosts bats. You can't call them that, because that just doesn't look right in the gene pool. I mean, now, ever since they added they need to add another type to the Pokemon series, because, okay, they added Fairy, because I don't know why Mr. Mime is a fairy. I still don't understand that. He was fine as normal and psychic, but he's considered a fairy. I don't know why. But in all retrospect, I hope for the next game they actually put the national dex in where it's supposed to be. Hi, dude. For the next game, I hope they put it back where it's needed. Not in the Pokemon Bank. I think it's not. It's like for this game, it's like a girlfriend. Like you like misplaced your girlfriend's purse, and that's just an example, and you forgot where you put it. That's where I think the National Dex went with this. The National Dex, because it wasn't where it's supposed to be, I was like, is it gone? Where is it? Like it's like losing a set of keys from your girlfriend's purse. That's my example for this. Because I was like, where is it? Where is it? Because I was kind of shocked where it was. Because that's not supposed to be there. And if I knew what I know now about the Pokemon powers not being transferred over, I would have actually upgraded all my Pokemon before I actually transferred over them to my Moon and Sun game. Because that's what I would have done if I realized that at the time. But now that I can't do that anymore, I feel so sad. I feel like I should have done better. I should have actually waited and transferred over all my Pokemon, but nope, I didn't. I still have some in my other game, but if I do transfer them over, I will actually upgrade all not their stats, but their Pokemon powers, and that's about it. Because getting max Pokemon power is kind of hard to find in this game. And even the PP ups, like the regular version of them, is hard to find in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I don't... Even how you upgrade their stack things are kind of weird to me. But what can I do? I have to wait for the next one to come out. But who knows when that's gonna be? Because I'm already waiting for the next Pokemon game to come out. Because I'm kind of disappointed that they left so much of Ruby and Sapphire out of the other game that I'm kind of disappointed. Even because in the older games, they never used to leave stuff out. In my opinion, for Nintendo, they did so much in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that they forgot almost everything that they needed to do for this one. In my opinion, they had so many legendaries from the previous games that you could overlook so many problems that they might have had. The game was practically perfect, except for there needed to be a way to catch Mew without a stupid Pokemon event. Without that Pokemon event thing. Honestly, there needs to be two things that they need to... Maybe one or two things that they need to do for the next one. There needs to be no events for special Pokemon. There actually needs to be a way to actually catch the Pokemon in the regular game for every legendary, almost. And there needs to be a way to travel in every region possible, starting from the beginning if you wanted to, or starting in the middle, or whatever region you wanted to start from. Me, I would have started from the Johto area, and then worked my way backwards from Kanto, whatever way I want to look at it. I would have started that way, but I don't work for Nintendo. I don't own the rights to Pokemon. If I was an owner of that franchise, I would make a total 180 and change what they're doing wrong and fix that issue. If it's not broke, what my motto is, if it's not broken, do not fix it. I would actually make Mega Evolutions permanent evolutions if that would be allowed, depending on which Pokemon actually would look cool in their new transformation, not call it Mega Evolution. I don't think there's nothing Mega about their new evolution. It's like a ripoff of Digimon going Pokemon never used to do that. Maybe when they started doing, maybe the closest flattery is Rayquaza looking like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian God card, Slifer the Sky Dragon, the red one. But and honestly, when it was the Hoenn region and having Salamence and Rayquaza in that echelon of legendaries, those are cool Pokemon. Those are cool looking dragons. Now, when I'm looking at a black dragon, I am reminded of the Mortal Kombat Black Dragon. Mortal Kombat, where Liu Kang or Raiden turns into a giant, or in this case, Liu Kang turning into a dragon that looked cool, but it doesn't look hideous, it doesn't look ugly. Dragons are supposed to be looking majestic and pretty and cool looking. Not like, what's it called? Pinocchio. With his nose sticking out like, oh, looking like this. Because I'm a truth teller when it comes to Pokemon. There's nothing cool about the new Grizzlord. And what kind of name is Grizzlord? You might as well make a grizzly bear. I'm like calling it Grizzlord. I'm thinking it's gonna be a polar bear. I'm thinking it's gonna be a menacing black bear with like something from Monsuno kind of dabbling in that direction. Not something looking like Pac-Man. Not that I have nothing wrong with, not that I have a problem with Pac-Man, but this is a 20-year anniversary kind of homage to Pokemon's greatness. They had an opportunity to bring it back to its former glory. And their glory days were in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I would have to say that that's the most highest of legendaries I've ever seen. But when I'm looking at the Ultra Beast and the Sun and Moon, I'm like, or the legendaries in there, I'm like, huh? And if you're gonna name something like Lunala, you might as well give it a gender, because that would be respectable. I'm not, in my honest opinion, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna see, and the reason why people hack the game is because they want a certain legendary. Nintendo wouldn't have this problem if they would just put it in the game, or be able to breed that certain Pokemon. I mean, you could breed, what's that one, legendary, that water one, but it turns into a baby and you can't even evolve it. It comes into a lower state. I know what it is, but I can't think of the name right now. And honestly, Jirachi was a cool looking Pokemon, even though it's adorable looking. Even Fatini, awesome Pokemon, but adorable. I wouldn't say that for the unicorn one, because unicorns are supposed to be, again, they dropped the ball. Unicorns are not supposed to be looking cute. They're supposed to be looking awesome looking. None of this cutesy stuff. I was thinking it was gonna be like the Pegasus from Hercules kind of horse or Rapidash looking size. When I saw its little tiny body, I'm like, what? But that's when it comes to Pokemon. That's what I like talking about for the most part. Pokemon actually, Nintendo and Game Freak dropped the ball on this, their 20th anniversary for Pokemon. They did a lot of actual mistakes that they didn't do in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I mean, till this day, Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby are better than Sun and Moon, in my honest opinion. I think they should have waited. Even Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are better than X and Y. And they're better than most games, except with the exception of the originals. The originals are even better than Sun and Moon. I mean, so Galio, I like lions and all that, but still, no, again, I wish that they put the national dex where it's supposed to be, in the actual regular Pokedex. I'm like, thinking to myself, what is this? Why is it there? And not where it's supposed to be. And honestly, if Ash doesn't win this Elite Four, then in Sun and Moon, I'm gonna be. I think the day that Ash, this is my honest opinion, I think the day that Ash actually wins the Elite Four League in Pokemon, in any franchise, I think the series will be over. And if it's over in this series, I'm gonna be sad, because Ash didn't need to go out like that. Ash needed to go out in a blaze of glory, not like this. Ash will probably never win an Elite Four championship either, because he always gives up his strongest Pokemon. Look at him give up his Greninja. Look at, or his Gekoga is the proper term in Japanese, which is a better name than Greninja. Now that I look back on it, like, and why would you call, just because he evolves into a Naruto looking, Ninetales looking, Sage Mode looking, why would you call it Ash Greninja? Like, why? Why are they adding names to its name? Why are they adding Ash on top of it? Just because it's Ash's Greninja, you put Ash in front of your ninja? I mean, somebody, I've heard online people call it Rainbow Greninja. I could get down with that. I could, or Oni Greninja or something. None of this Ash Greninja. Like, I'm like, or something cool, or just change its name from Greninja to something else. I mean, Greninja, he looks okay, even in his base form, but it still doesn't look cool, even with his giant shuriken that looks like something on Naruto. Mizuki. And honestly, I watched Pokemon for the last 19 seasons, and I've never seen Pokemon stoop to lows that people might not agree with, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I've never seen so much doubt in, because it's owned by Disney, which I don't agree with. I think it should be back on Cartoon Network or some other network entirely, in my honest opinion. Or it should be on Crunchyroll, because a lot of, because it's in Japanese, it should be on there too. I mean, instead of people streaming all the time, they could watch it for $6.99 for a month, every month. But I will say this to all the YouTube streamers that stream Pokemon in Japanese. Thank you, and because I don't plan on watching it on Disney XD when it comes out in English, because that's how I feel about it. But for me, I feel kind of let down by this when I'm looking what I accomplished 500 hours in 80 minutes or something like that in my Omega Ruby just by itself in the Omega Ruby game. But when I'm looking at my 200 hours in Sun and Moon, or 300 in total for both games, I'm kind of going, huh? And I have to play my Moon game again because just to catch the starter Pokemon. I have to do that. I have to get the stupid water looking Pokemon print. Yeah, that's even, what's it called? Oshawott looked cooler than this one. I mean, I would have to give it Oshawott turning into Samurott looked awesome. But even Empoleon, who gets the basic form of Piplup, looks better than this current Gen Water Pokemon. Now that I look back on it, most Pokemon look better than this Water type Pokemon in the newer generation. I'm like looking at it like, do I have to actually catch it? Because I don't really want it. But in retrospect, for me, Pokemon and Game Freak actually need to go back to basics and actually upgrade the original game in 3D and do it that way. Or do something. Because this one, I love the whole concept of Hawaii and riding Pokemon, but there's a lot of things missing that the other games had. Cool looking Pokemon. And you could actually transfer from one game to another without any Pokemon bank whatsoever and not having to risk losing that item. But that's just in my honest opinion. That's an honest fact coming from me. That's in my factual opinion. But people don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying what I need to say for me, from my perspective. Because even the Pokemon from, what's it called? Sinnoh looked awesome in general. Because you got the legendaries, the Thunder Brothers, the Thunder, and I'm like looking at the Pokemon that they come out with now, not so much. But who knows? I hope that in the next Pokemon game they come out with cool looking Pokemon. And honestly, they need to give some Pokemon evolutionary scales. Like Spiritomb needs one badly. Spiritomb looks like he could have one. But no, Spiritomb doesn't have an evolution. And why does Slowbro have a Mega Evolution? I mean, Slowking, awesome looking. Slowbro, cool looking, but normal, but not as cool as Slowking. Not as cool. I mean, Slowking, it was awesome. I was like, wow, they actually did good work. But after they came out with the concept of Mega Evolution, I'm like looking back in Slowbro. Slowbro actually looks better in his normal form than his Mega form. Charizard looks okay looking even after his Mega form. That's because it's Charizard, and I've been a fan of his evolution ever since, but I still don't like calling Charizard's Mega form his Mega form. I still don't. I still don't accept that. I don't. I think his regular evolution was cooler to begin with. I think they should add that function, what it turns into as a Charizard when it's male or female. That would have been a better concept. That would have been a better judgment on Game Freak and Nintendo's part to actually do that for the fans. Whether you want a female Charizard turns into that yellow as his final form, or you want the black one, which is the male one. That's just in my honest opinion. That should have been a given. But for the retrospect, it's like Game Freak doesn't care about Pokemon anymore. I don't think they just give it whatever and do whatever, and that's the end of it. I think. Because honestly, if I was, that's like a child. Like, you can't betray a gold mine that has been with that company forever. That's how I look at it. But now the heyday of Pokemon is over. I think if they don't fix their issues that they had with this one, Pokemon will be over. Well, I think that's gonna be it for this video, and maybe I'll play something later on today, but I don't know yet. But who knows?
to speech unavailable here. Text to speech unavailable here.